Say hi, Internet.
You say hi?
You say peace? Peace.
Oh, 2 fingers. There you go.
Peace. High five.
You're not here.
Yeah. But I know that you've got some rare plants that I'd like to see. So just take us through at your own speed and.
Well, that down there is Luigia arculata. It's a hybrid.
Is it?
Yeah, and then there's some rare white anubias and some beautiful flamingos.
I told her about those.
But they're not very white right now. I actually have, that was a hard water tank, turned to soft water overnight. Because I got these rare killifish.
And what was your result? I'm having so much trouble if I do that, if I go soft with something.
I've done it to the whole fish room and never had an issue.
Really?
I pumped us RO water straight in. I don't ever age it or anything.
No remineralizing or anything. Just
well, I do remineralize with GH booster.
You do that in the like right where the RO unit is, and you've got the trash cans.
No, I just throw it in the tank. Yeah, just throw it in the tank. I don't have time to change water and all that.
So what determines whether your white anubias are white or green?
I think it has a lot to do with lighting.
I think so.
Yeah,
So,
there may be some nutrients in that mix too.
So the more intense the light, the greener they are.
Well, I haven't dialed it in myself. Tom Barr would be the one to ask that question to. Do you know who Tom Barr is?
By reputation, yes.
Yeah, he's like the plant guru when it
Yeah.
comes to rare plants and everything else.
Yeah.
But I've heard of them before, so I know it's a thing. We just moved our baby rainbows, Gorda Rivers. We think they're Gorda Rivers. We had the fish that you gave Jim, I brought home because Jim was moving out, and I bought them from him. So I got 1 turquoise, 2 bronze or copper looking ones, and then 2 Bellarii, and then about 12 or 14 Gorda Rivers.
Nice.
And I've got 5 left. I went through either Columnaris or something that was so virulent that it just took everything out. I've got 5 left. Huh?
Are you using the tap water?
Yes.
You should see what's in. But
Wow,
they're
I haven't seen them with ones. I've seen the black ones. Wow, that's great.
they're living large right now.
Yeah, they're the only ones in the tank that are thread fins.
Yeah, they're the only fish in the tank, and it's just full of daphne and shrimp and
Yeah, I
scuds.
see.
So they got more to eat than they could
sure
ever
do,
imagine.
don't they?
I think I lost my scud
And I'm
culture
sure
that I
there's
got
eggs
from
all
you.
over the place in there.
Well, when they hatch, I'll be hitting you up for some.
Yeah. Hopefully they do. I've seen them throw eggs in the quarantine, so I don't see why they wouldn't throw eggs in there.
Yeah, I think they do it fairly easily. What's this plant?
That's a pearlweed. It's actually become one of my favorites because you could either grow it on the ground or you can just float it.
I started to
It's
bring you
great
some
for
guppy
guppies
grass.
and
Yeah, they
breeding.
like that.
Yeah.
Right now we've got a ton of this stuff,
Guppy
guppy
grass.
grass.
Right. The only problem with it is it grows so
It
fast.
sure does. It just fills up the tank, and I get
It's
in there
a
and fill out
13
half
gallon.
of it.
It's
and
that
then
13-gallon rimless
full
that
again.
Jimmy had that I got, and I got a few tanks and a bunch of fish when I went, and
Hooked you up, huh?
yeah, and that was one of the plants that was in the tank to begin with, and it just completely. Well, I mean, he was moving, so he needed to get rid of fish.
Right.
He needed to, he couldn't
Going over to Aquarium Cove.
going to the dark side.
That's
that-
Herbert Axelrod.
Okay.
That's actually from the line Jerry Allen went and caught out of the wild
Oh yeah.
a while back ago.
So that's
Which these fish are named after
L3,
Jerry Allen.
L4.
Right.
Yeah.
These are the sea allanite.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they're one of my favorites, but for some reason, I've just had I've gotten them to breed. I just have bad luck with either them jumping or just something happening, and I always end up with just males or just females.
Now, do you?
I knew about them and stuff, like with real estate and all that. They were wanting to talk you good. And over here's the RO system.
Yeah, that's what I need to look at.
Yeah. We just have a sort of a lock system. Yeah, yeah. Just like
These are our twos back here too, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the breeding group. That's the original breeding group back there. I like
Love
to try
these
to
guys.
split groups up too if I can. Just
Yeah, so you've got
breeding balance.
more than one potential.
And to keep the genetics deep. A lot of people don't do that. They'll just keep breeding the same thing.
The sought after blues in here.
Yeah. That's actually the B team.
The B team.
Yeah, but
They-
they're still supreme.
Yeah, they look really solid.
Yeah.
They almost look dark.
Yeah.
you talking about shrimp?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his blue dreams are.
I think they're from Borneo, actually.
Is it this crinkly edge that is desirable about them?
Well, when they get bigger leaves, since that's underneath the LED light,
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to see. There's like one leaf over here on this side.
Let me get out of the way.
Yeah, if you come over here, you can see
Okay.
it more. If you look on the top of the leaf, you can see more of the characteristics to the plant. That's like $150 crib.
Holy cow.
Yeah. That's how much I paid for them at least.
Okay, now the crib is not the one that
6
has
years
the,
ago,
the
7
spotted
years ago.
leaves. It's
A
got
couple
the.
years ago.
It's not the spotted leaves, is it? It's the
No,
plain
it's
colored.
more striped, and it'll get like a silveryish, kind of purplish, pinkish hue to it sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's always dogging me on my terrible focusing of my videos. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Jealous of the microscope.
I got that years ago. New girl.
Well, it was a nice gift. She may not have understood what she was giving you, but it was a nice gift.
We traded a really nice microscope to a guy for some orchids. He lived down in Homestead, Florida, and he worked at an orchid farm. So he wanted this. He made us this trade for our microscope, which is a really nice one, and we sent it to him, and he never sent us squat. So we were the
Jeez,
idiots on that deal.
that sucks.
Yep.
You get people like that. What, did you grow orchids yourself?
Yeah, I grew them for a while.
You have a greenhouse or something?
No, that's why I quit growing, because I needed a greenhouse and I didn't have one.
They did better when she took them into work and put them in
Yeah.
a window at work
Really?
than
Yeah.
they did at our house, because our house faces south, but there's not a lot of exposure, you know.
Yeah, the house is just too dark, and I couldn't keep the humidity high enough in the house without peeling off all the paint. And
Right, that's the hardest part.
Jelly,
I
jelly,
think.
jelly.
So,
Jelly, jelly, jelly.
Those are just coasters.
I know,
Not
but-
awards, yeah.
But you got the words to back them up.
It's better with that light.
Yeah.
Those are the fire ends.
oh,
Can't see them too well because the glass seems clean.
Imagine the bed once fit in here.
Yeah, there was. I tore it out.
This was Jimmy's room. Huh?
Yeah, it was. I was gonna put all immersed setups on this wall, just like plants out of water. And I don't know if I'm gonna do it now, just because of time wise. It's what I want to do.
that would be cool. Yeah,
Because you can grow plants faster that way.
yeah. put
I
the
think
light
it looks
down
cool.
lower
And then I'm gonna throw some dark frogs in there probably.
Yeah.
So.
I would.
They've
I
got
have
some
access to.
incredible looking dark frogs.
They do.
Some of them are just, it's like you're looking at a Picasso painting or something
Right.
instead of a live animal.
Now, can you lick those? I don't think
No.
You can lick them.
Well, if you
it's
die.
not gonna do much for you.
No.
Not as good.
Not much helpful anyway. All right, so while we're here, let's talk about this tank.
This
For a
thing,
minute. Yeah, this tank. This is a perfect tank to talk about. What is different about this tank from what you've seen most hobbyists keep their tanks like?
what's different from it?
Yeah.
Well, hobbyists keep their tanks in so many different ways, so it's hard to say what's really different from it because that can vary depending on the person.
I'm getting at your ecosystem. How does your ecosystem in this tank differ from what most hobbyists are trying to do?
I would say I just keep it natural and simplistic and let nature do its thing.
There's not a really deep bed of substrate here. It's just basically sand and what gravel has ended up in the tank. It's not heavily filtered in the sense of a lot of FXs on it
Yeah, just a little air bubble.
and TDS.
TDS is around 300, mid 300s. And I got pilo moss in there that creates a nice nursery for all the shrimp. So that's just like a little metropolis for all the shrimp. Triple back here.
No.
Turn that dehumidifier off too.
No, it's just the focus. Focus is the problem. Getting it to focus. It's got such a narrow field.
Yeah, but if you pull it back, then they can see more of the tank
Not really.
because it won't
It's
focus.
a macro. It's a macro lens.
Well, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous focus. But if you'll look, you're not seeing like the
You're not
Daphnia.
seeing that. Oh,
You know, this really tiny stuff.
detail.
Yeah, the detail.
But I would think when you're talking about a tank, people kind of want to see the tank as a whole.
Yeah, well, I'll have to go get my other lens for that. All right.
Oh, and also underneath this moss here, there's a piles of rock, just like this is. So there's like a nursery underneath that nursery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it'll never get disturbed
That's cool.
during water changes.
Right. When I set my Skittle shrimp tank up, I added a bunch of lava rock in a pile, and then I put a piece of coral, old bleached out piece of coral in there because I wanted the hardness to come out of it.
Yeah,
you
some
know,
calcium
for the shrimp, and now the moss has completely covered all of it, so you can't even see it anymore. But it's in there underneath where they can,
Pick on it,
swim
really
around
nice.
and go through all the.
I'm sure that's great for price.
Oh, and that peacock moss is just beautiful. It's in
Yeah.
all these little tufts, like he has a piece of coral here and it's all covered, but it looks like a little green mushroom. And then he has several things in the tank and it just looks like all these green mushrooms in
That's
there.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like the peacock moss.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It is.
I like its form.
And you can see how I can feed fry food or
Ah,
fry
tetra.
tropical granules. Look how fine that is.
uh-huh.
Just a little smash in the fingers and
And of course I've got the wrong lens on to get the best. This is a zoom lens.
You may want to make sure, tell your people that these are Alani.
Yes. And
plant through your own.
there you see an Alan and I swimming around with a tetragranule bigger than his head.
They like to try to bite off more than
Uh-huh. They'll roll it around and try to take a nibble off of each side, you know.
Spit it out, chew on
When
it, spit it out.
when I
chew on
kept
it.
super large pacus,
Mhm.
and I'm talking like this in 150 gallon. I had 3 of them in there, and I would, for a treat, I'd feed them a gravy train, piece of gravy train, and they
like
loved it.
dog food?
Yeah. They would roll it around in their mouth and shake it and roll it around, take a little bite out of it, roll it
They
around.
were getting that
Mess up.
gravy.
That's funny.
They played with it.
Wow.
They loved
What
it.
have you got over in these tanks?
But it wasted water quality.
There's not a whole lot in these tanks. Like there's some panda guppies down here and some red deltas, and then I got like an ornate over here and a koi guppies over there.
Oh, okay.
But I tried to move shrimp in here, and for some reason they all kind of crashed on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Water hardness?
I don't know if I just added too many too fast into like a new tank.
I mean, they look mature. It looks like,
super mature.
you know, because that, to me, that's the one thing I've learned about shrimp is don't buy a tank, pour it full of water, and then go buy shrimp and drop it in there because they're not going to be able to survive,
Right.
you know, unless you just really like.
Well, I let it mature for quite some time. I was throwing just netfuls in there, like 50 shrimp into one tank at the very beginning, and I think that might have been a big problem. And then one dies, and they get back in between the rocks, and it just caused problems. And
Yeah, and I see
I was
you've got
overfeeding a little
you've got
bit
your
because
rock
I was
piles in
dealing
the
with a
back.
lot, and,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Are you using those little those little plate things around the hose as sort
Cup
of skimmers?
tops.
They kind of keep the overspray down
Keep the
from
bubbles
the
from
bubbles.
popping
Oh, okay.
and throwing calcium all the way
all
around
over,
them.
Yeah. But I'm planning on putting a bunch of endlers and stuff in here. I just haven't had time to do it yet. I have so many to do.
For some people, you can't exercise them enough to keep up with that you have, and so you just get more farsighted and farsighted and farsighted.
Because you can only exercise them so much a
Right.
day. I used to do speed reading,
Mm-hmm.
and they train you, like train your eyes that's how you strengthen your eyes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can definitely feel it when you do it. But they only allow you to do it for 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, see, there's a reason for that. Yeah.
Because you will strain them and you will feel it. Because I've tried to go over it. I felt it.
Didn't work?
No,
Yeah, you felt
I
it.
felt it.
Yeah, you will. You will, definitely will.
Well, you remember the good old days at shop when someone was welding behind the screen and you're always looking at the welding?
Right.
That's that blue light.
That you're
It
not
just
supposed to
burns your...
Well, and it's even beyond that. It's,
Yeah.
It's on, in the invisible spectrum, a lot of that is too.
Yeah, see,
And
that's
it's
another
still
crazy thing
burns
too.
you.
Stuff we can't even see.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn these lights on.
Okay.
Have you been talking to him about plants? Because
Yes.
Did you see this tiger one here?
Yes, I'm looking at that.
Thought that may be up your alley. Break you off a piece of that if you want.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Well, let me go bag you up some.
how are you doing with this? Do you like fish? You're not on camera, so you don't have to really... You did that on camera. What is
It was
your
worth it.
favorite
It was
fish?
worth it.
Do you have a favorite fish? Do you like goldfish? Do you You like red fish? You like blue fish?
What's your favorite color?
White green.
Light green, huh?
Light green.
Light green. I think just the tank, maybe.
It is a light green.
You're so funny. Normally he would tell you red is his favorite color, so I really think it was that tank.
It was the favorite color in front of
I
it.
like
Yeah.
green too. Green is good.
Green is definitely second favorite we're finding.
Yeah.
What about reds?
Yeah. Mine's are green.
Dirt? I don't see any dirt in there. I see shells and rocks. Yeah.
We'll get